to talk a lot about volleyball, especially the Zone 5 that Uganda is going to host in the coming days. That's where most of the focus will be. And I'll be joined by two gentlemen who have done a lot in the game of volleyball, both as players and as coaches, to share part of their journey and tell us how exactly they expect the Zone 5 Club Championship to pan out here in Uganda. My name is EMANZI, and I'm your host. We had our first episode last week, and this is our second one. We had Mr. Joseph Odong in the first edition, and that is the chairman of the local organizing committee for Zone 5. This time round, we have people who will be closer to the bench. They will be making most of the decisions, not in the boardrooms, but on the court side as coaches. On my immediate right is Mr. Edward BWENJE. He's an assistant coach from KCCA ladies, and they were part of the Zone 5 Club Championship in 2023, so they know exactly what to expect. And Coach, good afternoon and welcome to Volleyball Extra.
Good afternoon, EMANZI. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well. How is KCCA and how is everyone at the team?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for this moment. Good afternoon, viewers. Edward BWENJE, my name's assistant coach KCCA. KCCA is well. The ladies are well. Yes, we're preparing for the coming Zone 5 championship that we have taken part before last year, and we are eagerly waiting to start. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next to Edward is Coach MALIK DDAMULILA from Sportes. He plays for the Sportes men's team and is the head coach for the women's team. Coach MALIK, welcome to the show.
Thank you, EMANZI. Welcome our viewers to the next episode of Volleyball Extra, and we are happy to be guests to this show, and as we talk about the coming championship.
Yeah, MALIK will not really be a guest. I think you'll see him a lot more as we go on. But for today, he's here as a guest, and he's going to be telling us about his team and about the Zone 5, because at least he has been part of it before. But maybe, gentlemen, as we get into this, if we could just start with letting people know who we actually are, because I know there are people who see you on the touchline and they do not know exactly where your journey started from in this trade. So if I start with you, Eddie, if you could tell the viewer how you get to start playing volleyball in the first place, where it took you, and how you have reached where you are now as an assistant coach in KCCA.
Thank you, EMANZI, once again. Yeah, my history of volleyball started in 2002. That is in DJSS. That's when I was in football senior 1, but I picked interest in senior 2. And that time the coach was Mr. Oluk, who was the coach in that school in DJSS. I picked interest from football to volleyball, and I didn't look back until now. So from there, from my Form 4, I got a bursary, senior 5, senior 6, volleyball still. From there, I joined university, Makerere University Business School, bursary, scholarship still, and the volleyball. And I was able at the same time to join KCCA volleyball. Then in 2010, I joined KVEC from KCCA, but after winning some championships with KCCA, then I joined KVC. We were also able to win many championships, move around Africa, around the region in volleyball. Then I moved away after university and KVC. I moved away from the country. I was able to come back in 2021. Came back to KVC, and I was able to start coaching with a school, Namugongo Vocational Secondary School. That's when my volleyball coaching career started. And in my coaching with the secondary school, that is when Coach Sheila Omoriri came and picked me up to join her as the assistant. And from then up to today, I've been a coach. And I'm so grateful for the talent, for the skill.
Yeah, that's quite some journey. But you talk about scholarships a lot, and I think mainly that's what volleyball has to offer
Yeah.
for most of the people. The money is not really a lot in Uganda, but how important are these scholarships? Because I know that there are many people who play volleyball, and maybe if it wasn't for volleyball, they would not have had an education. But just to re-emphasize, how important are these scholarships?
Thank you once again. These scholarships are important to an extent that probably some of us at that time, if an opportunity came for a scholarship, it would be a levy to the parents with the amount you're supposed to pay. So an opportunity comes because you have a talent and someone is ready to support you in terms of your studies because you have a talent, it would make a lot of meaning. So I believe the scholarships help some people or certain group of people to get somewhere where they think they cannot get. So that's why scholarships to me, they make a lot of sense to me. It's because I'm where I am in volleyball because I went through the line of scholarships. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. And now crossing to Malik, how do you even pick interest in volleyball to start with? Because it's not the most popular sport, that's for sure. You know that every child that is born somehow finds a ball and they are kicking it around. So it is very easy for people to pick interest in football. So how exactly do you actually pick interest in volleyball, and where does your journey start from?
Uh, First of all, I might say I grew up in a volleyball environment. From the time I got to understand sport, my elder brothers were playing the sport, and it happened so that at home it was the store for the kids. So every time people had to play, or my brothers and the friends had to play, I made sure that I was actually the person carrying the equipment to the field, and obviously
The interest
the
came.
interest started from there. I found myself right from primary loving the game, and it is the sport I always thought about playing. I was never a fan of other sports, for example, soccer, although I used to play football, but volleyball was my biggest interest because my elder brothers were already playing it, and uh, both of them were even on scholarship by then. This started while I was still in Barara, and later on, obviously, I started school, but I would still play with them in the holidays. And later at secondary level, I didn't manage to go to a school whereby there was so much of volleyball. But the less that was there, I kept on my interest in it. So it happened so that in this school, I happened to be like one of the people trying to sensitize others about the sport, to make them love the sport. This was at Imbara Secondary School. And when I finished my O level, I joined Gombe Secondary School, but this time around it was on scholarship. I had not played with actually coaches in my young age, but I think I had the talent because I was taken up. Yet I had not even played any national championship. So from my local team or my local school, I was taken up on scholarship to Gombe. I finished there my senior 5 and 6. Then later I joined the Barra University of Science and Technology for my bachelor's degree. This time around it wasn't on sponsorship or scholarship. It was uh,
Private
private
sponsorship.
sponsorship. And I finished about 5 years at MAST. Even after my graduation, I kept with the MAST team, uh, where we initiated the start of the uh, playing in the Serie B by then, which was in the Western League, and we drove the team up to Serie B here and then Serie A. Later on, after MAST, I joined the Air Force Volleyball Club, and I think that was the first time I played in Serie A, because I had not played in Serie A yet. From there, I think 2018, that's when I joined the Sports Volleyball Club, still as a player, and until now, I'm still at Sports Volleyball Club. However, I can say that my coaching career started at a very, very young age. I think when I was about like 21 years, I was now being called coach. I started my coaching career at Maryhill High School, whereby still up to now, sometimes I get there and I'm still the coach there as well, coaching the ladies or the girls. And from there, I happened also to become the coach of Sports Volleyball Club, the ladies team.
Yeah, quite a journey. And I know these people warned me that it would be very hard to summarize their journeys in just a few minutes. But we'll try to do our best. At least you know the people that we have on the panel today. But gentlemen, luckily I know that I was with the two of you in Kigali. For those who watched the Zone 5 Club Championship, you must have seen BWENJE somewhere. Even when his team was not playing, he was all over the place supporting Sportes. So I want us to basically look at the previous championship and how it went. I want to know what you guys actually picked from that championship as Ugandans, because Eddie, for you had a team, the women's team KCCA, finishing number 5 in that championship. What are the lessons that you might have picked as a team from Kigali?
Yeah, thank you, Emanzi. Surely the Zone 5, last year's Zone 5 was a wonderful tournament. It was, and I remember when our bosses from KCCA, when they asked us, the main thing why we need to be in Kigali was an exposure, a learning lesson to the team, since the team had not been exposed to the regional tournaments. So we felt it would be a starting point for us. For the lessons learned from that tournament, basically what I saw from the teams in that tournament, from Rwanda, the teams from Rwanda and Kenya for the women's side, I felt when on that court, they they put the game to a certain level. The tempo at which they're playing that game, the commitment, the, the anger on that ball, whatever they're doing on that court, I felt it flow. You would see it flowing in their teams, both teams from Kenya and Rwanda. It is something that, as Ugandans, I felt like if we pick up the energy, the zeal when we are on that volleyball court, a result can come so easily. Yes, that is one of the things I saw from Rwanda.
Yeah, and of course it was not very easy for your team.
Yes.
Of course, we are talking about a championship that had Kenya Pipeline, the team that eventually won it. You're talking about APR, the army side in Rwanda, Rwanda Revenue Authority. You're talking about police. I know these are tough teams in terms of investment. You would say they are really above the investment that KCCA put in. Not that, of course, we thank KCCA for how much they put in, but I think the other ones are at a totally different level. In terms of how they play, or the basics on court, how different are they when you look at? Because KCCA were not able to win any match in those games that they played. What would you say was the difference?
Uh, to go back to how you said, you see those teams, like there are like 3 teams. You find that they had additional forces because they have the resources. So that you would find they have the upper hand in the energy, in whatever they're doing. Let it be offense. The fight would be, you'd see, because there is that motivation of an extra manpower on the team. But on the playing also, you find the skill levels. You find when these Rwandese or the Kenyans, they're so comfortable with whatever they're doing. Let it be on the reception, they're comfortable. The services, they're comfortable. They're not struggling so much. And offense, they're also doing it perfect. The error rate of those teams, best because we were told before the tournament, they had to prepare, they were training. They were put in the camp and they're training from the same venue. So that is an advantage to them, to those teams. But yes, we went, we gave in our best, but we could not overpower them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Malik, of course, you are with the Sports men's team. You played with them. The team managed to reach the finals, and you lost to Rwanda Police. Uh, how was the tournament like for someone that was part of the playing staff? How was the tournament like, and the level at which that tournament is played. How was it like?
Thank you. It was a very good tournament. First, having also taken part in the first edition, which was in 2019,
Mm,
and looking at the team we had at that time and the teams that took part,
mm,
surely the previous championship, it was a step ahead now
mm,
because the competition was very much more better,
mm,
and the teams were much more structured. Teams were beefed up with actually players from all around the region,
mm,
which was quite different from the first edition.
mm,
And this time around, every team that took part in this championship had the capacity to win.
mm,
I cannot say that there was a weak team or there was a strong team. All the teams were strong.
mm,
That is why every game we had to play, it actually felt like a final.
mm.
I remember at one time when we were playing Kepler, we almost lost to Kepler
In the
I,
decisive.
in the decisive because I remember they led us like 13-11.
Yeah.
And this time around, what was running in my head, I was like, we managed to beat this team in the group.
Yeah.
Now we are at semifinals, but we are almost losing it.
Yeah.
That is when I was brought on as a substitute.
Mm,
I can't fail to remember that time around.
mm,
But I managed also to push my team because chasing 2 points at that particular time when the other team was above, it really requires mental capacity and resilience. But somehow we managed to win that game.
yeah.
And I think that was one of the games that we celebrated on because it was not an easy win. However much we had edged them in the group game.
Yeah.
So generally, the championship was actually a very good one.
And of course, it's important to note Sports only played two teams in that championship.
Mm.
That is Kepler and Police in the group games, and then incidentally in the semi-finals
and
and
finals.
the final.
Mm.
Do you like that? Did you like that? I felt like maybe you should have had a chance to face the likes of APR, REG, and
Yeah.
the other teams, but unfortunately, you didn't get that opportunity, and you only had to face the two sides. Do you feel like you would have wanted to test more against the other teams?
Yeah, that is true very much. It's very much true because when you look at the group matches we played against Police and Kepler, I think you saw we managed to get wins on them, which were much easier than the semi-final and the final,
Yeah.
whereby the semi-final we almost lost it and the final we lost it. It is very hard to beat such teams twice. And me in my head when we were watching these the qualification matches where they had to get the people to go to also play us in the semi-finals, I really hoped that we could play a team we had not played before. Because these teams you play first and then you have to play them in knockout stage. They make a lot of revision and they tend to be so tough. So I also wanted to get a taste of perhaps Reg, how Reg was playing,
Yeah.
or maybe APL. In my view, actually, that championship, APL had a very good team, and I was worried that if we meet APR, it might bring hard time for us because they had a very good set and the team was very much structured. But somehow they didn't manage to get past the quarterfinals they played. But to me, yes, we might have played very good matches, very good teams, but I wished we could have played the other teams as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you all to the viewers that have joined us. And please share the link. Let people know that Volleyball Extra is on. We are here every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. We share this ground with the church, so there is some music in the background that is gospel. There is also a football match that is going to take place around here. So in case you get any noise from the background, it is something that you can expect. Thank you guys, and I hope we can. I'm sure that we all picked some lessons from Kigali, and now most importantly, of course, we have to focus on what is coming here in Uganda. Uganda is going to host this tournament starting February 26th to March 4th at the Lugogo Indoor Stadium. And before we go into the details of the teams, I think I would want to hear from you, gentlemen, about the importance of having such a championship. When you look at the tournament in Rwanda, how much do you think it adds to the country or to the volleyball community when a country hosts such a championship? Starting with you, Eddie.
Thank you once again, Manzi, and the viewers. The benefit of such a tournament, I can take you back to last championship. Sportes was able to go with a few players that were not Sportes players, likes of Angiro and Marino. No, Marino was part of Sportes. But after that tournament, we're able to have players join the Rwandan League that we know that has been part of the export of Uganda's product here, volleyball talent. So from that zone 5, it's an exposure for the talent you have. So now having it here home, and I really want to thank UVF that they were able to add in a big number of teams to take part in this zone 5. It's an advantage that you'll have a big scale of players exposed to another level. So the big advantage is players, the talent is exposed there, out there. So people can be able to pick certain players. They'll run to someone. We need you. We need your service. That's very good. So that is a change. Somebody benefits from that. So such a tournament, and now being that it is home, it is a plus to us and the community of volleyball. Yes.
Malik, I don't know what your take is, but after that tournament, Sportes, okay, the players that were on the Sportes team, we know that Gideon Angiro and Thorn eventually crossed to play in Rwanda. Now Marino has also crossed, and I believe it's really it has a lot to do with the performance they put up in that Zone 5 Club Championship. How important is it for the players, the clubs, and volleyball in general?
I think it is a very, very big opportunity for us, Uganda, and the Ugandan players, and also the Ugandan community, because this is a regional championship whereby it contributes both economically, sports-wise, and socially. I remember when we came back here, some people would actually ask me, how would you see Makuto's ball? Because they really
Makuto has since joined police officially, so
yeah,
expect him in Kampala.
So they, from the time they're watching on TV, they really saw how a great player he was and how challenging it was to play against him. So if we go back to now our Uganda hosting, it means our Ugandan athletes or the young volleyballers we have, they will have the chance to look at players who are actually very talented. And this is an advantage to us in that it will motivate them. Yeah, we have very, very many young players who are not motivated in terms of seeing very, very good players. They manage to see the good players we've had here in Uganda, the likes of George, Tim, and they need to see how do players outside Uganda around the region play. I think other than Kenya, Uganda, we must be having also the biggest number of volleyballers around and volleyball teams. Maybe volleyball teams we might be even much more than Kenya. But in terms of the number of players, and you would feel like this is now the opportunity to exploit these players. They have the chance to come and see the games live. They have the chance to interact with the players. They feel like they are role models. And when they manage to see a game that will be a game they tend to remember while we are at Rugogo or Old Kampala, wherever the location will be, it means the motivation these young people come with, they might actually push them to also getting such opportunities around the region. And as we have players leave, obviously we need players to also replace them.
So that's for sure. I think it's a big opportunity for the players. This is like a market, so you have to show these people what you're selling, and that is your talent. So it will be very important to have as many Ugandan players as many involved in this. But now going to your teams, and we'll look at Ugandan teams in general. I don't want us to really focus on just one team or the other. But generally, when you look at the level that we faced at that point and now, where would you say we are as a country? Is it actually possible to win the women's title when you're going up against teams like Pipeline, like APR, like Police? Is it possible for a Ugandan team to actually win that championship? And now I'll open this to you because the two of you, we start from the ladies' side. The two of you coach ladies' teams. When you look at our level, how good are we? And what are our chances against those sides that I have mentioned, which I know that at least three of them will probably be in Kampala. Starting with you, Eddie.
Yeah, once again, thank you, Mazi.
Mm.
Yeah, in Uganda, we have talent. We have young girls, we have senior ladies that have been playing volleyball for a long time. And coming to this tournament, and what I saw last year, I feel if every team, wherever they are preparing for this tournament, with because I believe we have the skill, these players have the skill, they have the passion to play this sport. But I feel the only difference that will come to us to have a team win this championship is two-way or two-side. One, if the energy levels get up, I want to use an example of the previous match we had Nemo and Spotters for men. Sorry to use that. But when I saw the energy levels in that game, I felt, yes, we are ready. Those teams are ready for the championship. So in the women category too, I feel once the coaches or the teams put in an extra effort, focus on the energies, on whatever they are doing, and we reduce our errors, I feel we are good to go with against those Rwandan teams. Because one advantage we normally have is the endurance with the Ugandan teams. So once we push it on and the energy is on that court, we feel it, we are good to go.
Okay. Malik, I don't know what your view is, but you've watched, now we have the advantage of people live streaming matches. So you're able to see what's happening in Rwanda. You can once in a while see what's happening in Kenya. And obviously you're on ground, you know what's happening in Uganda. How do you compare our women's teams when you look at them and the likes of Police that actually has a Ugandan, Catherine Imbabazi, APR that also has a Ugandan, Sharon Amito. You go to Pipeline in Kenya. How would they compare in terms of levels?
I think we are close because talent-wise, we have players that are equally talented as they have. And when you're to look at actually the teams we have around, we have a very young generation of players that is coming up. Even when we played against KCCA, I saw at a certain point there is a lineup they started, and it was full of young players. And at that point in time, I was seeing the future of volleyball in Uganda because our sports team, we have very, very young players. Some of the players are even still at high school, some are still at university, others have just graduated. So if you're to say that the average age is around like 22, that is very, very good for our clubs here. And now we have players that have learned the basics. They have all the basics that they need to actually what they are playing is what these teams are playing. Maybe the only difference might come with experience, because when you look at, for example, the Pipeline team, they have like 80% of players who have played on the national team, and
at the Olympics,
yeah,
World Championships, so they are really, you can tell that they are different level in terms of. Basically, the Kenya women's team in Africa is probably the best if you go around. So it's and Pipeline has many players that have been part of that national team for a while. And maybe that takes me to the next point that yes, we have the young players. Are they ready to rise to the occasion, like the Zone 5? when you look at the pressure that is on every point, that is on every serve, in a competition like that, our young players are ready and prepared for the occasion?
I think they are ready and they are excited, by the way. Yesterday, when I was trying to talk to my team, I realized that we have about like only 4 players that have played teams that are outside Uganda. Only 4, and that is quite hard
Yeah.
and challenging, but it is a good experience that will come around for them because they are excited. They really need to gauge themselves on how far are they or how much do they know against these teams. Some of them have played with certain players. Of course, you mentioned the Kate, who's now in police of Rwanda,
Yeah.
and to see that she's excelling and doing very well on that team, and our players here back in Uganda were not as far away from her. That means that they feel that they also have the capacity to play and actually match these teams. I feel like our teams will actually do better. Why? One of the reasons is that we have the home advantage. The fact that we have to host, it is something we cannot put aside because you were there when we were in Rwanda. At one point, when we were playing group games, there was no much support for police.
Yeah.
But when it came to the final, things,
Rwanda versus Uganda.
yeah, things turned around. So that is where the home advantage came in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it was how it was in the group match, I'm telling you, Uganda would have won.
Yeah. Would you say that maybe the home advantage, did that noise affect you guys in any way as the players?
Yeah, because at a certain point in time, you would not even communicate to your fellow player and they hear you. Yeah, you literally had to shout in their ears to be able to hear. And now the pressure would get so high because you know, when you have fans and they are making noise behind you, they are now backing you. But if you have fans making noise against you, obviously the confidence will come down.
Yeah. So, and for Ugandans, now that's a call. It's a call out for everyone. Let's come out in big numbers. Let's fill Lugogo. Let's fill the old Kampala Arena. Let's make noise. Most importantly, and let's support our Ugandan teams. I know that you have affiliations locally, but when it comes to a championship like this, you need a Ugandan team in the final. You need a Ugandan team winning, and you have no business supporting a team from elsewhere. So let's come together as Ugandans. Let's support our teams. If Sporters are playing a team from somewhere, please, the choice should be Sporters. If Nemo are playing a team from elsewhere, the choice should be Nemo Stars. And let's make noise. Let the visitors feel our noise in that arena. But thank you, gentlemen, and thank you to everyone that is really joining us for this conversation. You'll hear from us every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. as we discuss what's happening in the world of volleyball. And in these few weeks, we will focus a lot on the Zone 5 Club Championship that is going to be hosted in Kampala, in the Lugogo Indoor Stadium. Uganda were able to win that bid and get the hosting rights. And it's very important for our teams. As we mentioned earlier, we only had 2 teams playing at the last championship in Kigali. Now, there is talk of about 9 teams from Uganda showing interest in playing in the Zone 5 Club Championship. And I would urge all the teams to actually register, because I know there's been talk that we have 9 teams, everyone seems interested, but there are teams that have not actually done their part of confirming and registering for the championship. So hopefully we have many teams from Uganda, and hopefully we get more coming in from Rwanda. I know we expect some teams, at least 4 from Rwanda that have confirmed. And then you have South Sudan that has also showed interest and has been coming for tournaments in Uganda lately. Then Kenya, I think Kenya Pipeline is the only team that has that pretty much has to come, because they are the defending champions and they have a job to do. They have to defend their title. So we'll be waiting and getting all the details. We'll try to share as much as possible. At least we're doing that with the side Out Africa on X, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram. You can follow, and we'll be able to give you all the details. Sports Media, this very channel, please subscribe, like, and share all the content, and let's keep growing. Let the numbers keep growing. I was impressed over the weekend. The match between Nemo Stars and Sports attracted over 2,000 viewers, and I think that tells you one thing, that the numbers are growing steadily. If you look at it, and you would say that maybe the games are getting interesting as well, because no one wants to watch something that is not interesting. So, if you're not part of the 2,000, please make sure you join that club. Hit the like button, follow everything that is on the channel, and share widely, so that we reach as many people as possible. Let's preach the volleyball gospel. Gentlemen, I want us to, as we near the end of this conversation, I want us to look at the men's teams that we have. First of all, we had an interesting match over the weekend. Sport is taking on Nemo Stars, and usually results, I think, can be deceptive. You look at 3-0 and you think this was a proper demolition. But you would say that it was a proper contest between the two sides that are the strongest in Uganda, I would say by a distance, if you look at the squads they have, and the championships or the tournaments that they've won in the last few years. You'd say that Sportes and Nemo maybe number 1 and 2, and the rest will come after that. But what sort? I will start with Malik, because maybe you could just start by actually confirming: would you play in the championship, or you focus on coaching the women's team?
Uh, First, I've featured in 2 championships already, and I can say that I'm gladly excited to feature in the 3rd. And the first championship, we managed to not come out empty-handed. The second championship, we were on finals. And the 3rd championship, obviously, we're also looking
There
at
is
not
no, the
coming
only way is
up,
up, because if you win bronze, silver, now the only way is up, and no one expects you to get out of the middle bracket. And
yeah.
of course, my question was going to be, what sort of competition are you expecting, and how prepared? For example, is Sportes, if you are to go down to the tournament, there's that loss to Nemo Stars. Is that a reality check that you're not yet ready for the tournament? How exactly? In what shape are you as we get closer to the tournament?
We are actually training well, and usually in sport you will always have that slip that you always lose, because every time there is a battle between two, obviously one has to fall. Maybe that is the time we fail, but it doesn't mean that when we fall we keep down. We shall get up again, and I can tell you even now we are already up. It is something that happens, and you still have to go on. So we've already moved on from that. It is not that the loss we had over the weekend against Nemo will actually demoralize us or make us lose focus in any way. And I think by the time we start off the championship, the team will be perfectly ready for this.
And I feel like sometimes it's good to lose, especially before a tournament like this. I've seen, I think Ndeje is the example that is the latest example. Last season they went unbeaten in the regular season. That is the women's team. Won, I mean, in the semi-finals they were not defeated as well. Then the 2 losses they have throughout the season are in the finals, and they lose the championship. So, Eddie, I don't know, on your side, does this count as a good wake-up call before the big day? Because, I mean, everyone is looking at Zone 5 right now, and the clash between Nemo Stars and Sportes was looked at as really the final hurdle that is going to show how prepared the 2 teams are. But I don't know how you looked at it. Is it a loss that, as a coach, you would take and say, maybe it was good? We don't enjoy losing, but maybe it was good that we get this reality check.
Thank you, Manzi. You see you playing a sport or playing as a team, and you're winning.
Yeah.
So when you keep winning, at some time or point you become comfortable. So you don't even think of what do I work on? What do we need to change? So because you're winning, you become comfortable with a certain routine or strategy. So until you lose, you're like, I think it's a wake up call for us. Let's go back to the drawing board and fix this because we've been doing this and we have failed somehow. Can we go back and fix this? So I've with Sportes leading the first round and up to when they fell to Nemo, I think it's a wake up call before the zone 5 for them to know what we need to do, what we need to fix. Because right now it's not about the league, because the league is still ongoing even after zone 5. But now it's zone 5. And zone 5 is not about Sportes, Nemo, KCC. No, it's now Uganda. Ugandan clubs representing the country. So I think on the sporting side, it's a wake-up call. What do we need to do before the championship? Nemo, are we comfortable? Is it good? Or we are ready? Something like that. I feel it was good for them and see what to fix before the championship.
Yeah, and maybe Malik, coming to you as a player on this team. I know you came on in some of these sets and not able to win the match eventually. But what have you got to work on between now and basically in the remaining days? I think we are now less than 15 days to the tournament. What do you have to work on between now and then to ensure that you put up a fight that is going to take you to a greater height than you did last in the last championship, because you lost in the finals and the goal has to be to win the final this time round. So what has got to take you there, and what are you working on between now and then?
First of all, I might say there are a few things that didn't work for us out, and one of the things we are trying to do is to actually capitalize on our strength. We all know our strength, or even everyone here knows that our strength is we never run out of attack options. This time around against them, I think we ran out of attack options, and somehow siding out was a little bit hard for us. And that one also affected our defense because when a team is not siding out, it means the defense also goes down a bit. But these are things that we are trying to polish because that is our game. That's the game we play. When we have a very good offense, we are having a very good defense. And I think in these remaining days, we shall be ready and we shall work on that.
And of course, I don't know. It's very hard to speak for teams, but there are teams that have showed interest, and you cannot conclusively say they will for sure be in the zone 5 because I know that you had UCU showing interest. I don't know if they have finally registered. The last time I checked, they hadn't. You know that you have Nemo Stars in there. You have KVC. Eddie, I know that you know one or two things about KVC and Malik as well. You've seen them this season. In what shape, for example, are they? If they are to take part in the zone, I know they will. In what shape are they? And do they need reinforcement? And is it a good thing to actually add players that are from another club for a tournament like this? Because we have very good players or promising players who are in clubs that will probably not be in the zone 5. But how important is it that they are accommodating in some of these teams, and specifically KVC? Because if I look at the teams that have showed interest in playing the zone 5, you would say they are the team that is limping a little bit. So how important would those reinforcements be? And generally, how do you look at them as a team?
Thank you. Surely for most of the teams here, let me use an example. The Sportes team that has just played. You realize that when they were outplayed in their strength, they had no option. They almost ran out of option. They ran out of option. So you realize, yes, teams are playing well in our own league here. But if you look at Rwandan teams, they come here with big enforcements. They are playing. They in every position. They have more options. So when I look at KVC currently, they have no options. There are few players. Most of the people are engaged, commitments. Same with the Sporters, commitments. It's not where this is where they have to commit. They have to find ways to live, to survive. So it becomes a challenge to clubs or to teams, basically here. So I feel every team here needs an enforcement for us to have a good performance, a good show in the zone 5. For KVC, they do surely need the enforcement in certain positions, certain roles, and they will have a good show as long as they prepare. And I know they're preparing for that tournament. Yes.
I don't know if you guys have any particular players that is. I know we have a crop of players who have basically reached maybe the highest level in Uganda. If you talk George, Dickens, Smith, and all these players, now the likes of Sam that are coming up, John, those who have already touched the national team and played for a while. But there's a crop of players that has not really, maybe has not had a chance to play with the national team because there is not that much action. The national team for men has not assembled since 2021. I think they tried to assemble for the East Africa Games, but that didn't happen last year. But by and large, there has been no activity for the national team. Who are some of these young players that you think should have had that opportunity, and maybe this is the time for them to rise to the occasion? Maybe we could start with Malik. There are some of those players, not necessarily in your team, by the way, but basically in Uganda. You look at the crop of players that we have. Who are some of those that you think this is the tournament, and maybe you need to show the world what you can do?
Thank you so much, Emanzi. I think we have quite a number of players on the UCE team, and this time around, I think they'll have the advantage to also showcase, since it is a team that is taking part. And for example, the likes of Ian, the center blocker, we've seen him also feature. I think he featured for KVC in the MEM.
Yeah, I think he was the best server in that tournament.
Yeah, and I think this is the time around he has to prove that he is really actually making it up there. We have the likes of maybe Mark Omara. He has stepped up his game on the UCU side, and I think he's one of the reasons why their game has actually stepped up. Because UCU nowadays, they are performing very well, and the players and these teams have tried to step up. Even their opposite, that is
Nixon,
yeah, he's been playing very well of late, and these are the boys that need to send a statement when they reach this championship. And also, when I look at the KVC side, I think also players such as Onapa has not actually showcased what he can actually do, because maybe he has played tournaments out there, but this is the time he has to show what he can do when he's on the home ground with the home support, because I believe he's one of the players who can do something, and he can lift that KVC side alongside his other teammates. For example, Ayo. Yeah, they are doing well, but we need them now in this period of time to really step up and show that they are actually very good players.
Yeah, and of course there are many more. I think there's Duke at Sportes, who definitely has the talent, and maybe this is the occasion where he's going to showcase what he has got as a player. There's Elijah, KCCA, Esau, right there, and many more. I've seen Eli in UCU. I see the middle blocker of Ndeje, Martin, and all these are good players that I think cannot be tested by just our league. It's very important for them to test a competition of a level like this, and it's going to be very important for them. But thank you everyone for joining us. We are concluding this conversation, and I want to conclude by asking these gentlemen what your expectations are like. I don't know if your teams have set targets going into the tournament, but in general, your expectations, what do you want to see in the Zone 5? At the end of the Zone 5, what do you want Uganda to celebrate? Apart from winning the two trophies, what do you want to see in Ugandan volleyball, where you know that maybe the Zone 5 was the reason we are here? Starting with you, Ed.
Yeah. What I would like to see at the end of the Zone 5 is everyone celebrating that we hosted the tournament and it was successful. The success, probably my prayer would be the success, victory coming to Uganda.
Yes.
That is very important. Secondly, is our teams seeing a whole Ugandan flag up, again. I mean, upon all the teams of Uganda against the foreigners. Sorry about that. We need to come up on top on all Ugandan teams, not KCC only, but every team that is in that tournament. So at the end, we should be celebrating ourselves as a group, as a family, as a community. That yes, when we supported each team, this is what we achieved. At the end, all those players with the support of the extra people around, it will be one voice. It will be one joy. So I want to see everyone feeling proud of every team that is part of the tournament. That is my prayer.
Okay. Malik, what would you look at and say this is success for Uganda?
First of all, I can actually, Manzi, say that we are already successful right from the fact that we are hosting.
Yeah.
That is the first win we have gotten.
Yeah.
And after this, surely me as a coach or as a volleyballer and a team player, I would love to see teams playing better volleyball after this, because clearly we've seen some of these leagues a bit a step up, because they have teams that are balanced throughout the whole league. So, like you were mentioning, the fact that you see Sportes and Nemo being in 1 and 2, or 2 and 1, whichever the side is, but I can say 1 and 2. Since we are the defending
That's how
champions.
the table is. Yeah.
So we need to see also other clubs, for example, UCU, KVC, KCCA, also be in the same bracket, in that you don't know who is 1 and who is 5. And that is what I want to see after the championship has ended. And also I would love to see a good structure of teams on our side. Because trust me, when I was in Rwanda, I was challenged on how organized these teams can be. For example, you looked at a team like Pipeline. I think the officials were almost the number of the players.
Yes.
And they had everything, like the manager, the team manager, the doctor, the coach, assistant coach, trainer, physio. Like, these are the structures we need in our teams or in our clubs, so that we try moving a step. Yeah, it might be cost, maybe there are a lot of costs involved, but we can start slowly. Yeah, we can start slowly, so that you find every team, at least they have a team doctor, or they have a physio, or they have a trainer. And let's grow.
Video officer.
It starts from growing our bench. We already have the players. Now we need to grow our benches with the technical side, so that we improve our game. Otherwise, if we keep finding that a team only has a coach at the bench, just one
coach
person
playing like 6
playing all the 6 roles of about 7 or 8 people, it is quite hard. So this is what I would like to see after this championship.
And maybe, gentlemen, as we leave, if you could just tell me, after the Zone 5, at your respective clubs, what did you see? I mean, when we came back, Sportes, of course, went on to win the league. KCCA not able to win the league. But what did you see with the players that you went with? What was different about them? What lessons did they look like they had picked?
Thank you once again. On my team, KCCA women, there was improvement. You find the play change, because they always reflected on what they saw, and they wanted to do it on court. Yes, we did not go on to win, but they tried to put in what they learned there, on the energies, more or less errors when they're playing, confidence on court, and we saw it working out. It was an advantage. They were inspired by certain players, so which gave them a motivation to always fight on, play on, until the last point.
Yeah, and Malik, of course, Sports we won the title after that, won the league, and how important was this, and how did the players feel like after playing in the final of the Zone 5? You come back home here. I don't know what is in your head. Is it that now surely no Ugandan team can touch us? What is the mentality like?
Obviously, it cannot be like that. Always,
Mm.
I tell people a fixture is a fixture.
Mm.
It doesn't matter who comes up
Mm.
because in sport, anyone can win. But I might say after Zone 5,
Mm.
that is when I actually got to know that experience matters. Because when our players came back here,
Mm.
you would see that even when they are trailing, they know that they can actually catch up, they can close the gap, and they can win.
Mm.
Having, for example, our libero, Agawa Nicholas, becoming the best libero in that
Yeah.
championship.
Yeah.
When he came back here, after defending all the hot services and the attacks that
Yeah.
side,
Yeah.
it became easier for him as we came back here because the experience he had that other side, he actually transferred it here and things became easy
Mm.
for him.
Mm.
And at the end, that is why actually I felt a little bit touched when we had the players such as Alan miss out on such championships.
Yes.
Because these are young players we actually wished to have taken part,
Mm.
and perhaps now they would have matured up by far. Okay, they are maturing up. They are now they are gaining the experience, but that championship really mattered a lot.
Mm.
And also, after that championship, it brought me to light the importance of having a strong team. Yeah, because when you have a strong team and you have options,
Mm.
you always get out of a fix.
You have an answer for everything.
Yeah, you always
Thank you
get
so
out of a
much.
fix.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I don't think we can go beyond that. But for those coming to Kampala, Kampala is ready to host you, and do join us. Let's enjoy volleyball. Don't try to compare our arenas. What we have is what we shall use, and well, I'm sure volleyball will be played, and the best teams will win. So we want to stop it here. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Malik, and we'll be back here next Thursday, same time from 3 to 4 p.m. as we discuss everything that is happening in volleyball. And we have decided to dedicate these few weeks to the Zone 5 Club Championship that will be hosted here in Kampala.